This is one of the best things that I've ever put in my mouth. Let me show you how to make this Jamaican Oxtail Philly cheesesteak. I saw a travel blogger have one at a roadside stand in Jamaica and I knew I needed to have one. This came out even better than I had hoped. I start by washing up my oxtail that I proudly purchased at Costco. If you know, you know. When Jamaicans make oxtail, they wash it up really well and they use citrus. This is some lemon. You can use oranges, lemons, lime, whatever you have on hand. The citrus helps draw out the excess myoglobin and gives the oxtail a really clean flavor. After the first wash, you rinse and you repeat to make sure that your meat is nice and clean, and also you want to remove any excess lemon flavors. After your oxtail is well washed and drained, you're going to trim up the fat. This is going to keep your oxtail gravy from being too greasy, and also it's going to make sure that you can focus more on the lean meat and not have hard fat to eat through. If there's any tough silver skin membrane, you're going to want to try to remove that as well. It's important not to waste any of the lean meat though, because oxtail is very expensive. Trimming the fat is probably my least favorite part of cooking oxtail. Like, not only is it sort of tedious and a little boring, I am like Julius, so as I make every single cut, I'm like, that's 32 cents worth of oxtail. That's $1.27 worth of oxtail. But the payoff for the effort is worth it every single time, because oxtail is one of the most delicious proteins you'll ever have in your life. This is how much fat I ended up cutting off of that one piece, and I also wanted to show what I cut off of the big piece. That's a big piece of fat right there. Now I'm going to season these up with some thyme, adobo, black pepper. Then I add some parsley, sazón, and some oil, and then I grab my gold gloves, and then I really massage those seasonings into the meat to make sure every square inch is covered thoroughly. Once I have it fully coated in my seasoning, I make my marinade by adding in some Maggi jugo, Worcestershire sauce for some umami, and also some soy sauce. Then I add some ketchup and some green seasoning. Some people call it epis. I do have a video on how I make my green seasoning. I make it in a big batch and then I freeze the leftovers. So when I have this marinade completely rubbed in, I go ahead and cover it with plastic wrap and I let it sit in the fridge overnight. When I'm ready to make my oxtail, I go ahead and make my browning by putting sugar in a pan and letting it get good and brown. Once the sugar turns a deep brown color, I add in my oxtail and let it sear on all of its sides. Don't be afraid to brown the sugar. It will not make it taste burnt and it will not make it sweet. I promise. It will be delicious. Once I'm happy with the brown color, I give it a flip so that it can continue to brown on the other side. After it's done searing, I add in my bell peppers and onions, and then I give that a stir, let it saute for a bit. Then I add in some green onions and some garlic and some habanero pepper. I de-seeded mine because I didn't want it to be spicy, because you know I got kids, but you can leave yours spicy if you want to. I add back in the remaining marinade because that's where a lot of the flavor will come from, and then I top it off with water. I cover it, bring it to a boil, and then drop it down to a simmer for 4 hours. When they are done and cool enough to handle, I don my gold gloves. Then I stroke the meat right off the bones, and it's so easy because it's so tender. Who is that guy that's always like tenderism? I cannot cook oxtail without thinking about him every single time. Once I got all the meat off of the bone, I grab my skillet, heat up some oil, then I saute my onions and my bell peppers. Once the bell peppers are tender and they have some good color on them, I return the oxtail meat to the skillet. In this step, the oxtail meat is gonna get like a good crisp edge to it. Oh my God, it's amazing. While that cooks, I get started on my bread. I butter my rolls and then I let them get toasted on my flat top. I add my provolone cheese and let that get good and melted and bubbly. I add even more cheese directly on the bread. I use provolone cheese, but I'm told that some places in Philly will use Cheese Whiz exclusively. Can someone tell me if that's true and let me know if it's good or not? The sandwich is incredible just like this, but do you want to know what happens when you serve this with that oxtail gravy? Oh my God. Like and follow for more.